Hey guys, so I want to make a video going over my updated Lion Arrow MF character. So this is not going to be a guide, it's more so a showcase to show where my character's at. It's very expensive and I don't expect people to follow it whatsoever, but if you do want to look at the character, if maybe you do have the currency to follow it, then this is the video for you. I want to go over everything about the character, what's different. It is quite a lot of changes and I'm still going to be doing quite more changes as well. The character is not done yet, we still have a lot of upgrades to get. So yeah, still farming daily. Anyway, this is a standard Breach gameplay. I just want to show real quick. It looks like every other version of the character. It's insane for Breach. Nothing new here, right? Real quick, I'll also show a boss kill. My damage is now absolutely insane. As you can see from this clip here, it's probably like over 6 million DPS. I think the boss dies in like 3 seconds or something. Or maybe 2 seconds. Yeah, probably 2 seconds. So yeah, that was 34 million damage in like 2 seconds. So I'm probably doing like, 17 million DPS. So yeah, the damage of my character, it keeps scaling, it keeps getting higher and higher and higher. It's absolutely insane. The boss has a forced transition, of course, but yeah, it's dead. Anyway, that's the single target DPS. So let's go over the character now. So yeah, this is the character. I'll go over all the items, all the upgrades I want to do, and all the future upgrades that I also want to change as well. So I think the first things first I want to talk about is my mana, mind over matter. So this is my passive skill tree, and as you can see, it's quite all over the place, right? And the reason for this is that I have to path to mind over matter, which makes all damage is taken from mana before life. This makes me pretty tanky actually, combined with mana remnants, as you can see here. Mana remnants essentially just doubles your mana pool. So, and to make sure I'm not using mana, I use life tap on my Lion Arrow, so I don't really consume mana whatsoever while mapping. This way, my mana pool is always full, and my mind over matter can always absorb all the damage, and it doubles as well through mana revenants. So yeah, very strong defensive layer here. This is only possible through the jewel Adorn. So Adorn, if you're not, if you're pretty new to PoE, essentially what this does, 100% increase effect of socketed magic corrupted jewels. So all my jewels have to be magic, and they have to be corrupted. So this is quite harsh on gearing because these jewels are not cheap. In fact, they're like 5 to 7 divines each before you even divine them or corrupt, and they have a 60% chance to brick upon corrupting them. So only 40% of jewels you actually make, and each jewel is going to cost over 10 divines, 12 or 13 divines to make. Only 40% of those are going to actually not brick. The other 60% are going to brick and they're not going to be usable. So yeah, it is quite expensive to do this build. This is why it's not a guide, it's just an overview. The Adorn itself is like 1 mirror and 100%. If you do want to try for a more budget version, like you want to try to copy, but you don't have, the multi-mirrors, maybe like 1 mirror or so, you can get away with a 94% Adorn. 94% Adorn is 1% less efficient than 100% for this build, so not a big deal there. Of course, we're still using the same GG against the darkness with extra cold and extra line damage. And yeah, the whole skill tree is just Adorn jewels, so the most important thing here is the increased bonuses gained from equipped quivers. And then the second mod can be kind of whatever. I have a couple of maximum lightning resist to make me more tanky. I have some attack speed and also some movement speed as well. The movement speed ones are nice as well. But yeah, those are all the Adorn jewels there. Give a lot of damage. As you can see here, we're at a little bit less because this counts tailwind. Let's wait to fall off real quick. My tooltip is 189,000. That's thanks to the new mirror quiver, which is absolutely insane. Essentially, it is all tier 1 mods. It's maxed out. Can't really get any better than this at this point. So yeah, 189,000 tooltip. It's not even specing all damage. Right, we're going to mind over matter. We're going to AoE nodes, move speed nodes everywhere, as you can see. But yeah, as you can see, one jewel for this build gives a ton of damage. A ton. This is like late game Adorn scaling with a really good quiver. This is where a lot of my damage, practically all my damage, is coming from. At this point, my bow is almost giving me like no damage. So yeah, that's the whole concept of the build. I'm also stacking rarity, of course, though I am going to go down rarity. So currently I'm at 420% rarity. I do plan to actually drop rarity though, because we're finding out that rarity is not as good as we thought, and going above 200% rarity doesn't give practically any benefit to currency drops. So there is a different variant I'm going to try in this build that's going to drop this chest. I'll probably go down to like 250 to 300% rarity. I'll talk about more of that at the end of the video, but yeah. Besides that, let's go to gear real quick. So the bow is just, a standard bow, nothing really special here. Increased elemental damage with attack skills is very strong modifier actually. It doesn't show on a DPS, but it's very strong, so I'm getting so much flat from my quiver scaling and from hand of wisdom and action. So even for your character, a bow like this might be better than a standard typical high DPS bow. Rarity helmet with intelligence cold. Get intelligence everywhere is actually extremely potent because of two factors. One, intelligence gives you mana because of mind over matter, so more mana is defense, and it gives you damage because of hand of wisdom. So yeah, intelligence everywhere is definitely pretty ideal. Amulet with pretty ideal mods. Mana, spirit, rarity, all res, and strength. The strength is not exactly ideal, but you do need strength on this build, so it's fine. You know, it's practically the same as intelligence anyway. Obviously, the Mirror Quiver. This thing is obviously insane. Don't need to talk about this. 2 MF rings, so rarity rings with mana both on them and flat cold damage. Flat cold damage also gives a lot of damage, as you can see here. 6k damage for that one flat roll. That's pretty potent. Boots with max life and mana. Ideally, I do want max life mana everywhere on my pieces. It makes me the most tanky. And I think at this point, getting tanky is the number one priority, which I am quite tanky. Now, I have over 5k HP essentially with mana revenants and my life pool. And even then, I can still get one shot. Like I should have 5k one shot. It is quite insane. And of course, Headhunter. I don't use Ingenuity because I don't see a point. Headhunter gives you speed. Ingenuity, the only thing it gives me is rarity, which I just said rarity is actually not that important. So I don't really see a point using that belt. I'd rather have Headhunter for the speed. It is quite useful. As for the flasks, we have the the 2 unique flasks, Orloff's and Melted Maelstrom. Orloff's very useful this build, especially since we just activate it on demand because of our life tap, so we can just shoot, activate. Huge guard shield, over 2k guard. This is a 2k absorption shield, really massive for defense on this build. The Melted Maelstrom, because we're mind over matter, this is also another huge defense flask. If we ever take any sort of damage whatsoever, our mana pools ever hit, we can just instantly press Melted Maelstrom and it instantly fills your mana. And this thing has so many uses. We only use 8 charges because I'm expecting to some mana flask nodes. But yeah, this is like unlimited charges. Never out of mana. It's really, really great for any mind over matter build. So yeah, that's Soul Gear. Rarity, Soul Cores everywhere. Like I said though, I probably will go down rarity soon. The goal is going to be using a Temporalis on this build instead actually, which should go down a ton of rarity. And the reason for that is that with Temporalis, you will have infinite blinks. So this is definitely something I want to do, as I feel like the speed is way more important than the rarity. Just blinking around like this would be way more powerful. You clear maps way faster, even your breaches as well. So yeah, that is the plan right now. Besides that, just to show the gems real quick. So it's mostly the same as the regular LA guy that I have. The only difference here is that I'm using both Life Tap and Inspiration on Lion Arrow. So it's kind of only like a 3-link with Ice Bite, Martial Temple, Primal Arbitance. You can also use Bow Shot. If you do want to use Bow Shot, you use these 3 links with Fork and maybe something like, I don't know, Heft. It has no mana cost and the damage on bow shot is pretty high. So that's that. I'm using mana revenants with cannibalism and herbalism. These are optional. I just do need some more life on kill, so I'm using cannibalism since I don't have life on kill on any other source right now. Usually I want to get on a ring. Standard cast on shock for the bosses swaps, and then the same Held of Thunder and Held of Ice tech that I showed previously in my video. You just want to see the links real quick. Yeah, nothing new here whatsoever. It's just the mana revenants which are new. Overstorms, the blink for the weapon swap. If you don't know anything about the blink weapon swap, it's pretty simple. You just put this on weapon swap 2 and therefore activates on weapon swap 2, and then you just weapon swap and blink. Pretty useful. Yeah, that's pretty much about it about the character. Like I said, it's not a build guide, it's just a showcase of what this character is. It's still going to be changing a lot. It's a multi-mirror character. Don't try to follow it unless you have the currency. Use my guides below, because it's way more budget friendly than this character. But it is a very, very strong character and it's still a lot more work to do. Anyway, I just wanted to give an update on this character. It's not done yet, but I do know I got a lot of questions about it on stream, so I did want to make a quick video on it. Besides that, I think the passage tree is self-explanatory. I don't think there's anything to talk about here. AoE nodes and Anointed Doomsayer for the huge Herald pops. As you can see, our Herald of Ice is 3.4 meters, which is quite large. And this freeze node right here, Heavy Frost, hits ignore non-negative element resistance of frozen enemies. This is how we can get away without going into any penetration essentially besides this wheel. So any monster we freeze, we just automatically ignore the resist. So yeah, that's about it. I hope I explained the character well enough. It is quite strong. We still need to get a mirror bow. I do want to try Temporalis, try different setups, so the character's not done yet. But yeah, that's about it.